More buses and jeepneys return to the road to serve commuters as the phased reopening of the economy continues. Are there enough safeguards to make sure commuters are protected when taking public transport, especially this holiday season? Let's now have an exchange with LTFRB Chairman Martin Delgra. Chairman, thank you so much for joining us. Kamusta po ang implementation ng social distancing and one-seat apart policy sa ating mga buses and jeeps?
Hello, Rico. Thank you for inviting me to your show. Good question po. Insofar as the social distancing measure is concerned in public utility buses, tuloy-tuloy naman din po ito na minomonitor ng LTFRB at kasama na rin po, especially in Metro Manila, ng iba't ibang ahensya kasapi sa IAC, yung tinatawag po nating IAC, in short for Interagency Council on Traffic, which is actually closely monitoring the implementing guidelines on the public health protocols that were mandated by the IATF. So as regards that, we're closely monitoring in all modes of public transport, not only on public transport that run on routes, but also on non-route based modes of public transport, as we call it, like taxi, shuttle service, and TNBS.
Chairman, the exchange conducted a survey sa ating mga viewers who take public transport. Tingnan po natin ang survey. More than 60% still don't feel safe in their daily commute. 1/3 are still worried, and 4% don't feel safe at all riding public transport. Marami po ring sa ating mga kababayan na Chairman ang takot pa dahil sa pandemya.
That's precisely the point that we're saying, Rico, because when the challenge here in public transport is that people converge.
Yes.
People from different places, from different backgrounds, and therefore the feeling of being uncomfortable, if not feeling of unsafe, is there. No? And that's precisely why we in government, particularly LTFRB, will have to ensure that we will raise that level of comfort, that we will raise that level of safety among our commuters. And on that score, we have followed strictly the standards set by the IATF. Hindi lang po sa social distancing, but we have what we call the 7 commandments when people take public transport, among which the wearing of face masks, the wearing of face shield, discouraging people to talk, because as we know that when people talk, that is when you increase the risk of the transmission of the virus, as well as the use of the cell phone. That's on the part of the commuter. Also on the part of the operators and drivers, there will have to be regular disinfection insofar as the vehicles are concerned.
Right.
So yun po ang pabalik-balik natin na inaapila at nire-remind, hindi lang po yung mga driver at saka operator, pati na rin po yung mga commuters.
And these standards, Chairman, really have to be implemented very strictly. But kung titingnan nyo po, marami pa ring takot. Tingnan po natin ang isang image of an overcrowded bus noong Monday. Chairman, walang physical distancing at standing room pa rin, no? And also, Chairman, itong bus that you can see right now on your screens traveled from Imus, Cavite to Pasay. And we would also like you to take a look at this video. Yung bus conductor nag-overcharge pa sa pasahero. Pakinggan po natin ang kanilang pag-uusap.
14 na, kuya? Bakit?
Tagal mo po yun. Simula po ng pagbalik ng dyan.
Hindi naman po limited capacity
Yan, narinig niyo, Chairman, yung conversation between the conductor and the passenger. Meron po bang multa at penalty para sa mga bus at jeep na hindi sumusunod sa minimum health standards and overcharging ng pasahero?
Opo, if I may, I think I've seen that video, and we have already issued a show cause order to the operator. And that goes with the reports that we would get from time to time on operators or drivers for that matter not complying with the public health protocols set by the IATF. Now, having said that, panawagan din po natin sa mga pasahero, kagaya nung nakita po natin sa ngayon, na tulungan tayo na ma-monitor po ito, yung compliance ng ating mga bus operators, ng ating mga jeepney operators and drivers, na to comply strictly with the public health protocol. So that, and i-report na po sa ahensya namin so that we'll be able to act on it.
Okay. Chairman Delgra, marami po sa ating mga bus and jeepney drivers ang nahihirapan hanggang ngayon dahil sa pandemya. Kailan po nila makukuha ang kanilang cash assistance galing sa gobyerno?
Okay, good question, Rico. There are actually two programs which are transport-related insofar as road-based public transport is concerned sa ilalim ng Bayanan to Recover as One Act. Una po dyan, yung direct cash subsidy, which we call fuel and cash subsidy, that will be given to the critically impacted industries under in the transport sector. So we are referring to the operators of jeepneys, of UV Express, of PhilCab, and buses, both of provincial and city buses. Tuloy-tuloy po yung pagbibigay niyan. The allocation for that is 1.1 billion pesos. And in fact, earlier today, we actually had a meeting with our team to monitor the distribution or the remittance of this subsidy, which is equivalent to 6,500 per unit. That covers something like 178,000 units all across the country.
Yes.
We are, for this week alone, we are targeting a disbursement rate of a little over 70%. So we would expect that insofar as the direct cash subsidy is concerned, we would be able to meet the deadline much earlier than the December 19 the timeline that was set by government. Now, the second program is actually also ongoing, which is a much bigger program, and which we call the Service Contracting Program. The amount for this totals 5.8 billion pesos for those running on routes. And I'm referring to buses and jeepney. We have actually initially identified Metro Manila, and Cebu and Davao for the initial implementation. But the board, the LTFRB, has decided to expand it to other regions as well, like regions like Caraga, Region 10, 6, 12, 9, Region 9, including Region 1 in the Ilocos region. So what this means is that this is what we call a performance-based subsidy, whereby drivers are given subsidy on the basis of their performance. Performance based on what we call key performance indicators. Some basic performance indicator would be having to run a number of kilometers per day and having to operate a number of hours per day. What that means is that it will not only benefit the drivers insofar as the subsidy that they will get under the service contracting program, but it will also improve or raise the level of service of our public transport. Kasi nakakasiguro na tayo that during that period of time that they will operate, they will have to run.
Yes.
May pasahero man o wala, o konti man lang pasahero o wala, they will have to run because they are paid by government. And by the way, the mode by which we have run this program, we call it Net Service Contracting Program. What that means is that yung kita po ng mga driver, mapasa kanila po yan. And on top of the fare revenue that they will get, the drivers, the bus drivers, as well as the jeepney drivers, they will be given cash performance-based subsidy under the service contracting program.
Naku po, magandang balita po ito sa ating mga bus and jeepney drivers. Thank you so much, Chairman, for this safe public transport exchange. LTFRB boss, Martin Delgra.